it's Liz Yuille from Old Stables Crafts. Thank you very much for joining me again today. It's a really dull old day here in South Oxfordshire, but crafting always makes things better. So this is another of the projects that is for, or was when you're watching this, for our team event this last weekend. There were over 80 of us, or will be. It's going to sound really odd for me because I'm recording this in advance. There were over 80 of us at the event. We all met in a lovely hotel in Milton Keynes. I know it's lovely because I've been there before. And this is one of the swap groups that I was involved in. At all team events and Stamping Up events, there will be swapping of some sort. And at this particular event, rather than swapping with everyone who's there, we just do a few really nice swaps. So normally about half a dozen. And rather than them being, you know, just a card front or something fairly simple that you can mass produce, we spend a little more time and make a really nice project. So I was involved in one that was for babies and kids, and it was from the remit was to use products that are in the annual catalogue. So starting on page 81, that were in the kids and babies section. It's not a very long section in comparison to some of them, and I don't actually have a huge number of these items because I don't have children and I don't know people who have young children, or not very many. So for me it's, yeah, I do have the Twinkle Twinkle set, I do have this, and of course I've got Baby Bear. Everyone should have Baby Bear. And Foxy Friends was actually one of the very first stamp sets that I bought. I bought this before I was a demonstrator, and that's it. I have nothing else. So it was an easy decision, really, and it was a choice. I didn't have to do it, but for me it was a really easy decision because I chose a Little Wild. I only had 3 things to choose from, unless I wanted to get something new. So I chose a Little Wild. I love this set. I have done so many projects with this. I think it's just too cute for words. So the great thing about this is that you can actually make tags. That's what they're made for. They're made to make these little tags. And there's matching dies, and you stamp everything together. So I've already stamped our bears because I'm using the bears, and because I'm using blends, it's better to stamp a little bit ahead. Memento is brilliant. It's great for alcohol pens, but it is best if you've left it for a little while. But when you punch them out, and I will die cut this in a minute, it comes out as a little tag, so it's just brilliant. And obviously I've cut it apart, but anyway, so having already stamped this, let me show you how I coloured it in. It's really easy. I'll just do the front because it's the more, of the two, it's the more complicated, and it's not difficult. So I'm using, for the bear, the soft suede combo. This is new. It's one of the new sets, so it wasn't one of the original sets. So dark soft suede on his nose makes it pretty much black, but it's not completely black. And then I've put a shadow. All I really do is put in where I think the shadows are going to be, and always along the bottom, because that's bound to have a shadow. So round his leg, across the bottom again, and round his bottom, round his little bottom. I'm not doing any shadow on his face. It kind of just happens. And then this is the light soft suede, and all I'm doing is blending that in. So I do spend a little bit more time just blending those edges so that they're smooth edges, because you don't want a harsh line. And then the rest you pretty much just colour in, avoiding the little bumblebee, because we want the bumblebee to be separate. And the joy of this is that it doesn't matter if it's not completely solid, because a bear would have a bit of sort of dappling. So don't worry too much if it's not totally solid. And then the face, and I do avoid going over the nose because otherwise you will take the dark soft suede to a more medium tone, which I don't want it to be. I want it to be a solid, soft suede. And then for his ears, I'm just going around the outside, and I will let you know why about doing that in a moment. So that's it, and the back is basically the same, but for the sake of speed, because surprisingly I have done one earlier. So for his ears, I got the dark petal pink, and I'm just going into where the inside of his ears would be, and it just sort of blends it out a bit. And then for the bee, I've got the light mint macaron, which I'm going to use for his wings. And then dark soft suede again for the dark stripes. We do have a basic black now, but I think black is almost too black. Bumblebees actually aren't black. And then this is dark daffodil delight. And that's it. So, let me pop those to one side. As far as die cutting is concerned, you just grab your die and line it up, and I will just run that through the Big Shot and show you what you get. Try and line it up reasonably well, even though I'm not going to be using it. And then you get the cutest little tag. And then all you would do if you want to keep it as a tag is fold it in half. Like that. And then you've got somewhere to put your string, your baker's twine, and it's a little tag. It's so sweet. Isn't that just lovely? Dinky dinky. However, that's not how we're using it today. So let's pop those to one side. What I've done with these is just then take my snips and cut them apart. And obviously you would spend more time than I'm going to be giving because I've already done them, but you just cut them apart and take off the tag. So you end up with your two bears. And I've also done the bees, because you get 3 little bees as a stamp. Let me grab those. So you get these 3 little bees and a honey pot. So, next stage is crumb cake. And this is my usual size mat. All the dimensions will be listed below, so there's no worry about that. So this is, which size is this? It's the 3rd from largest of the layering circle dies, and I'm just going to, by eye, pop it towards the top and run it through my Big Shot. And of course I've now moved it, that's better. And that is that die cut, and then I want that to be embossed. And by embossed I mean in a dry embossed with an embossing folder, and I've got the lovely, it's been around forever, in fact it went away and had to be brought back because there was almost a riot, I gather. So it's the Woodlands embossing folder, so you just pop it into your embossing folder. Try to get the trees reasonably straight. It's not the end of the world if they're not totally straight, but you know, it's worth trying. In fact, do I want it that? Which way up do I want it? I always have a little discussion with myself. I think I want it the other way up. It's not. I think it's been manufactured sort of the wrong way up, and I keep forgetting that it's been manufactured sort of the wrong way up. So for our embossing folder, you take off your thin die adapter and then just use your basic multi-purpose platform and 2 plates. This is an ordinary embossing folder, it's not the dynamic 3D embossing folder. For the 3D embossing folder you would just use 1 cutting plate. And then you have, whoops, your lovely embossed background. Now you want to do it that way round. You want to do your circle and then your embossing. Otherwise, when you're doing your circle, you're squishing your embossing. Ask me how I know that. The things one learns by mistake. It's always useful. So that's that bit. Then for the frame here, all I've done is take the largest of the stitched shape framelets in the circle, and then the same size circle die that we've just used, and then just layered those up and ran them through. Just make sure that they are even and run them through the embossing folder. So it's as simple as that. You do end up with lots of, if you're doing a swap, lots of circles, but they can come in handy for something else. So it's never a waste. So, multi-purpose liquid adhesive, and I tend to apply it to the background and then stick my frame onto it. I think it's an easier way round, because otherwise you're trying to put something down that is quite well glued, rather than putting it onto a big piece that has some glue on it. So, but the liquid adhesive is great because it means you can line it up properly. So there we go. I'll just rub it from the back as well. So there we are. Then grab our base card, which is just a piece of thick Very Vanilla, and my bone folder. And I want the little bits of grass. I'm going to use the Hello There Honey Bear and these little bits of grass. So let's start with the little bits of grass, and I'll get the Hello There Honey Bear as well. So that's the Hello There Honey Bear, which is pretty straight. And then the bits of grass. And then what I did was pop that down. This will actually be popped up, and grab Granny Apple Green Classic ink. This is one of the lovely new colours that was new for the annual catalogue this year. Grab your grass and then just do your first position, because then you know where you're working. And then I just kind of filled in do a few more up here, but it just gives you a starting place if you do that positioning piece like that. And then on the back I've got the bear as well, and I just did 2 little bits of grass, so that's all I need that for. And then soft suede ink. I've packed my new one for team training, so hence I'm using this one. Hello There Honey Bear. Into the middle of your card. So that's all of the stamping done. And then all we've got to do is put it together. So, and I will explain what I did with the other bits as we go along. So the first thing I need is the mint macaron from the Nature's Twine pack. And all I have done is taken a piece and tied it in a knot towards the bottom of my card. And towards, the knot is towards the left hand corner, and it doesn't have to be, it's just that's where I decided to put it on my design, but you can move it wherever you want, it's your card. And that's the lovely thing about seeing projects, I think, is that you can take a basic project and make it your own, so you don't have to do a complete copy, you can change something, or you can do a complete copy, either is fine. And then I just undid the twine, so you just roll it back on itself, and it it frays off. So perfect. And then just make sure it's sort of straight. And then what I did was I grabbed an ordinary piece of sticky tape and popped that on the back just to keep it in place, because the twine is quite proud. You don't really want to stick dimensionals on the twine, and I'm sticking this on the card with dimensionals, because that means it will add even more depth, which you don't really want. So to adhere everything to the card, I'm just adding some adhesive to the back of my bear. Don't need a huge amount. And then I've buried my dimensionals that I very carefully put in the right place. Couple of dimensionals, which I will leave the backs on for the moment, because all I want at the moment is to pop my bear in place. Hold that down for a moment. So that's my bear in place. And then same with the, oh, I need my little dimensionals as well. Same with the honey pot. So that's going to be that way, so that needs to be there. And a little bit of adhesive down here. And again, you don't need a huge amount. It's not as if it's, you know, it's just adornment. It's not taking weight. You just need it to be in place, and preferably so that the dimensional is in the hole. And then a little bit of adhesive just there. And then with your take a pick tool and the putty end, you can pick up one of your little bees and pop him on. So that's him. And then these two need dimensionals. And they're just the right size for the back of your little bees. Right, okay, so we're jolly nearly there. All we need to do now is stick some more dimensionals on the back of our card. You do need to think about supporting the edge of your frame. So I will be using slightly more dimensionals than I would normally use, because by taking a circle out of the middle of your piece of card, you have actually weakened the structure of your card. It's sort of physics, really. So let's take these off the back. Oop. I'm all thumbs. I'm all thumbs. As I'm filming this, I'm actually packing to go to the weekend, so it's all a bit panic. Because quite a few of us are spending the Saturday night, or will have spent the Saturday night at the venue. It's not that far from where I live, but it just takes the pressure out of the, oh gosh, there's, you know, bad traffic and stuff. So pop him on the front there. Excellent. Preferably without picking up 1.5 million dimensional backings. And then take our, how are we doing for time? Oh my good grief, we're on 18 minutes, and this is the, you know, edited version, as in I did quite a lot of prep beforehand. Sorry about that. Right, add our bees, and then just final touch, and you do want this flat, really. I mean, you could raise it up if you wanted, but I think flat is probably better for the back. And this is really just for a bit of fun. Now, we normally add recipes, as in what we've used, to the back of our swaps, which I have done, but because I've stamped on everything, for mine I put them on the inside. But yeah, so there we are. The 6 that I'm going to take to swap, and the one I've just made for you. Isn't that cute? I hope you've enjoyed that. If you do give it a thumbs up. We have such fun at our team events, so if you are a crafter and you spend money on craft products, it really is worth thinking about joining my team, because if you do, you get a really amazing value starter kit, and the details of this are all on my blog posts. So amazing value starter kit, and you then get a discount, and you get to come to team events. And for my team, because we're spread around the country, we do have local team events, and we go to larger team events because we're part of a larger team as well. And I also do regular Facebook Lives, and we have a real laugh. So there's about 20 of us now, which is brilliant. So do think about taking the plunge. If you decide it's not for you, there is no comeback. All you do is just stop being a demonstrator. So it really is a no obligation thing. And as I say, you get to have things early and at a discount, and have fun with lots of crafty friends. So thank you very much indeed for joining me today. All the information is in the links below. If you've enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't yet subscribe, please do think about hitting that button in the bottom right hand corner. I'm hoping that by my birthday on the 1st of November, I will get to 5,000 subscribers, which would be absolutely fantastic. I'm getting close. I've got just over 200 to go, so it would be amazing if I could hit 5,000. So thank you very much indeed for watching, and I hope to see you again very soon. Bye!